All right, good morning, and good morning from my side of town. From my coast, this is the morning. On the East Coast, it's noon. That's why I chose to do it at high noon because I wanted to get this information out early to you. Hope that you all have been well. I've been in a sabbatical for a little while, just trying to get some things in order, trying to put together some new initiatives, but I still hope that you all are doing well. I think today's conversation is going to be a very interesting topic because I know that a lot of people at 8 p.m. Eastern time will be sitting around the TV to see who their favorite NFL team drafts today. And for 256 individuals and families, they are going to be super excited. They are going to be elated that their child's hard work has paid off. But one of the things that I really want to talk to you about is not just about the NFL draft, but I want to talk about the mental wellness of the numbers who do not make it. And for those who do know me, know that I seriously concentrate on numbers. For the clients that I work with, one of the biggest exercises that we create in our sessions are evaluating the numbers of people in your life, the numbers of people who influence your decisions, the number of people who help you in making the choices that you are going to make, and hope that you can create a positive outcome from those particular individuals. A lot of people probably joining on thinking that I am going to do a mock draft. I'm going to say who's going to be picked number one all the way to number 254. That is not my job. My job is to talk about the numbers today. And some may think that this initial message is going to be a message of dream killing. But in reality, we need to put our young men and our young women, when we do talk about our young women, but especially today, we need to put our young men in perspective of what this journey really looks like. Because so many have a deferred narrative that at the end of the day, they are standing there when the smoke is cleared and they're standing alone. And for those people who I will discuss the psychological effect that it has on those individuals, you'll see why I'm sharing what I want to share today. And I want to talk about the numbers. Now, most people know that there's a lot of people out there who will love enjoying playing football, and it's sort of mirrored in how many people attend games, and then how many discussions are being taken place on the social media sites during the NFL season, during the college season, and how people always are engaged in the narrative about who needs to do what, why this player is not good, this player should be doing this, how to do that. There's people who do know sports and they do understand the mechanics of sports, but there are very few people who are sitting at home commenting who probably didn't even make their high school team, but now all of a sudden they're pros. And you all recall that show a few years ago, Pros versus Joes. It went and showed that most of the people who are talking couldn't even compete with pros who have been out the game for multiple years. So I just want to talk about that today, the numbers. And again, if you want to, after the information is received and you want to book a free consultation with myself or someone from the Rory T. Edwards group, you can do that by going to my website at www.rorytedwards.com. Once again, that's www.rorytedwards.com. Or you can send me an email at rorytedwards1 at gmail.com. Once again, that's rorytedwards1 at gmail.com. Now let's get into the discussion today. And I thank you all again for joining in on the House Calls with Dr. Rory T. Edwards on 4/27/23. Now let's start about these numbers. I want to talk about the numbers. So usually when people are talking about numbers, we want to start from the high school level. And when we think about all of the high schools across the country that are playing, there's about 1,100,000 players who are competing on the high school level. And so there's about 1,100,000. I just want you to understand these numbers. So if you have an opportunity to write them down, write them down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to repeat them so that you get a clear understanding of what I'm talking about today. So about at the high school level, once again, there's about 1,100,000 players on active high school rosters. As they move through that phase, that 4-year phase of high school, the numbers diminish. They go down to about 73,712 who are on college active rosters, right? So now, when we get to the college active rosters, like I said, there's about 73,712 on college active rosters. Now, as we move through that 4-year phase, we know that the individuals are playing to increase their chances of getting an opportunity to play at the highest level, the NFL, the CFL, the USFL, the XFL, but they really want to play in the NFL. And so what happens on the day like today, draft day, there are 16,380 eligible players. So tonight, the numbers will be 16,380 eligible players. Sheila, what's going on? How are you? Thank you for joining in. Truly appreciate that. Once again, tonight, out of the 73,712 who are active players on rosters, we're talking about, just because there's 4 years, sophomores, freshmen, juniors, and seniors, we're talking about there's 16,380 who are eligible for the draft this evening, right? So now let's talk about the more elite event that happens each year. It's called the NFL Combine. Some of you have watched it. Some of you have had the opportunity to participate in it. So now, how many people are invited to the combine? And you can't just go to the combine. You can't play football and say, I want to go to the combine. You have to be invited by the NFL to participate in the combine. And in this year's 2023 combine, there were 319 players invited, right? So out of the 16,380, there were only 319 invited by the NFL to the combine. Right. So are you following me? Are you following me about this journey into playing from high school now into the NFL draft, which takes place this evening? Now, out of the 319 who are invited tonight, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the next 3 days, as the NFL draft takes place, there will only be 256 names called. So over the next 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there will only be 256 names called. So out of the 319 elite players that were invited, 80 of those players' names will not be called tonight. You follow me? You follow me? I want you to follow me on this. Now, out of that, after this happens Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there'll be about 300 to 400 individuals who will be invited as free agents into camps to try to make the teams. So about 300 to 400 more players, right? Now, let's talk about the other 3 leagues that players can play in. There's the XFL that just is now in its last, it's in its playoff season right now. They had their 10 weeks and they're starting their playoffs this weekend. So out of the XFL roster, there's 408. There's 8 teams in the XFL with 51 men roster. So there's 408 players on those active rosters for 10 weeks. Now let's talk about the USFL, which is getting ready to start, or started this past weekend. There's 360 active players on those rosters. So are you following the numbers? Because I'm going to give you the total. Because some of you were sitting right here thinking like, wow, there's a lot of numbers. There's still a lot of places. Now let's talk about the people who want to go over and play in Canada. Based on the rules of the Canadian Football League, only 20 American players can be on the active roster. Only 20 players per team. So that's 180 players, right? So out of the 408 on the XFL, 360 for the USL, 180 for the CFL, 256 drafted, the 300 to 400 who are restricted free agents. We're taking that number from the eligible numbers of players that are eligible this evening, 16,380. Now, the numbers I gave you, let's total those up. Sounds like pretty good numbers. A large amount of players will be selected. There will only be 1,554 players who will have an opportunity in the next few weeks to be a part of a active professional football team roster. Only 1,554. Now that 1,554 out of the 16,380 leaves, drum roll, 14,826 individuals. 14,826 individuals left with the dream deferred. In Jay-Z's song, he says, you know what that type of stuff can do to a person's mind. That's what we're talking about. You know what that can do to a person's mind. I want you all to sit back, close your eyes, and think about an opportunity that you put so much work into. You put years and years of dedication into. You put years of dedication into that. And you go for your final interview, and you're told you didn't get the job. You're told you didn't get the job. What normal person walks away from that and says, oh, that's fine. I mean, I know there's people out there better than me. No, because you put in the work. You believed in your heart of hearts, in your minds of minds, and in the lies of the liars that you were going to be there. Because like I said in the initial video, numbers don't lie, people do. And people who have gassed you and seen you throughout your journey have told you that there's an opportunity for you to make it. There is an opportunity for you to make it. But you also got to face the reality that many will not make it. So when we talk about the mental health of the individuals, there's 4 stages of failure. And I don't want to call it failure. All right, Brother Champ, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're listening also. So let's talk about the 4 stages of failure from a psychological perspective. There's 4 stages. The first stage is shock and surprise. Now, many of those individuals will, I don't want to say suffer, will experience that tonight. They will experience that tonight over the next 3 days, because I'm going to share a story also that my cousin David Irons, owner of Georgia Training Alliance, one of the most esteemed training facilities in America, has put out over 500 individuals who have made it to the NFL. I want to share with you a story that he and I experienced. So I'm telling you that most will go through this experience of shock and surprise. Most people believe that they are going to make it because they believe they put in the work. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. They believe they're going to make it. The second phase is denial. Denial, and I'm not talking about the river in Egypt. I'm talking about denial. That you get into this funk that, no, I was supposed to make it. I did everything that someone told me. I did everything that I was told. Why didn't I make it? The third one is anger and blame. You get mad at the system. You blame those who didn't give you the right information. You blame the coaches, but you didn't look in the mirror. You didn't look in the mirror. So that's the third phase of of the failure perspective. And the last one is depression. And that's what we're dealing with a lot of individuals who are playing sports at the different levels, the different phases. And then they go into depression, and then we wonder, why are they so depressed? I just want you to think about your own journey. What things have you tried to accomplish and didn't do, that you didn't do? There's nothing that you can do to prevent depression. Depression is a phase that you go through, and it's these 4 phases of failure. Once again, shock and surprise, denial, anger and blame is the 4th one, is depression. Now, it would be so amazing if I sat here and told you how we can help you to overcome these four stages of failure. But we can. But it's going to take an opportunity for you to book a consultation with us. Once again, that website is www.rorytedwards.com, or you can send me an email at rorytedwards1@gmail.com. I guarantee you, and this is not a Charles Barkley guarantee, because his guarantees always turn up losers. This is a winning guarantee right here. I guarantee you that if you book an initial consultation with the Rory T. Edwards Group, and primarily it will be with myself, and I have a few other colleagues that are just as dynamic and probably even more dynamic in what they do. We will get you back on board to being a productive, viable, and valuable and valued citizen. This is not, this is not the opportunity that you are considered a failure. It's just part of the journey. And the reason why I say it's part of the journey, because I'm going to end with this. Numbers don't lie, but people do. I wish the individuals tonight, the individuals who will be called in the first round tonight, years of success. And I wish those names of the 256 who will be called in this NFL 2023 NFL draft much success. But I also encourage you, if you're listening, to give us a call, because what we can do is help you design your blueprint for going forward in your journey, so that not only will you become a successful football player and a professional football player, you will become a professional in life. And that's our guarantee, or money back guarantee. So for those who have listened, for those who choose to pass this message on, please do so, because we hope that it's going to be valuable information that can help you succeed not only in sports but in life. Brother Charles, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate all of the comments and the people who have listened. Please share this information, because all of you know someone who has a child or a grandchild who's in high school trying to play football, and the information that they have is incorrect. And if you have incorrect information, it messes up your GPA. And now most people think GPA is your grade point average, but in my realm of the world, it's your getting paid attitude. So make sure that your GPA, your getting paid attitude, has the right information for you to continue to get paid for the remainder of your life. So ladies and gentlemen, I wish you much success in your journey, and please don't forget to contact us, www.rorytedwards.com. Looking forward to some more information, because I want you to know I'm back. The doc is back in the house, making house calls. So until we speak again, Ashe, be well.